Hello and welcome back to I Completed 80s Music, your journey through the best decade of the charts, one single at a time. I'm the 80s Mixtaper, and for anyone new to the show, back in 2016, I set upon the most lukewarm midlife crisis ever by deciding to listen to every single UK single from the 31st of December 1979 to the 31st of December 1989. A spot of Billy Joel, Flock of Seagulls, and some Rebel MC later, and I'd done it. This podcast is the child of that journey, playing all the best, the most interesting, and the most odd songs, and telling the stories behind them. Unfortunately, due to copyright rules, I can't actually play the songs in the pod, but if you would like to play along with the show, you will find playlists for both Spotify and Apple Music in the episode description, along with the full track listing. I know that on some podcast sites, the hyperlinks don't pull across, and hence I've listed all the tracks as well. It's now mid-autumn 1980, and it's one of the most interesting times. As you'll have seen over the last couple of pods, we're not really getting a lot of classic 70s sounding disco appearing anymore. It's more funk or quite kitschy school disco songs. On top of that, we've started to see a few of the first major players come out, like Adam and the Ants. Other bands are just starting that first cycle of evolution, like Madness and the Specials. And by the end of this year, bands like UB40 and Spandau Ballet will have entered the fray. At this point, it's fair to say that the 70s have largely gone, with just a few callbacks still happening. So everything forward now feels very 80s-ish. As usual, if you want to add any comments, corrections or recollections, you can find me on your socials as the 80s Mixtaper, or if you prefer to drop the show an email, the address is completed80s, that's 80s, at AOL.com, completed80s at AOL.com. Without further ado, let's get back to the music and playlist 14. In the autumn of 1980, Gilbert O'Sullivan released What's in a Kiss, a track that would become his final top 20 hit in the UK, peaking at number 19 on the official charts. This song, with its gentle melody and introspective lyrics, marked a poignant moment in O'Sullivan's career, encapsulating both his signature style and the culmination of a tumultuous period in his professional life. This is track 1, playlist 14. Born Raymond Edward O'Sullivan on December 1st, 1946, in Waterford, Ireland, Gilbert was one of 6 children. The family relocated to Swindon, England, when he was 7, following his father's job opportunity. It was here that young Raymond's musical inclinations began to flourish. Despite a brief stint with formal piano lessons, he preferred playing by ear, a testament to his innate musicality. During his time at Swindon College, where he studied graphic design, O'Sullivan played in several semi-professional bands, most notably as a drummer in Rick's Blues alongside Rick Davis, who would later found Supertramp. This experience honed his rhythmic skills and influenced his distinctive percussive piano style. In 1967, with dreams of a music career, O'Sullivan moved to London. To stand out in the bustling music scene, he adopted a unique image inspired by silent film stars like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, donning a pudding basin haircut, cloth cap and short trousers. This quirky persona caught the attention of CBS Records' house publishing company, April Music, leading to a 5-year contract and a name change to Gilbert O'Sullivan, a playful nod to the operatic duo Gilbert and Sullivan. O'Sullivan's persistence paid off with the release of Nothing Rhymed in 1970, which soared to number 8 on the UK singles chart and number 1 in the Netherlands. This success was followed by a string of hits, including Alone Again Naturally, a melancholic reflection on loss that clearly found its audience, especially in the United States, where it spent 6 non-consecutive weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100 in 1972. It also briefly referenced by Colin Firth in the film Love Actually in 2003. His subsequent releases, Claire and Get Down, further solidified his international acclaim. Claire, a tender ode that reached number 1 in the UK, showcased O'Sullivan's knack for storytelling through song. Get Down, with its upbeat tempo, also clinched the top spot on the UK charts, demonstrating his versatility as a songwriter. Despite his commercial success, O'Sullivan's relationship with his manager and label owner Gordon Mills became strained. In 1977, feeling that his contract disproportionately favoured Mills, O'Sullivan initiated a legal battle to reclaim his rights and earnings. This protracted lawsuit consumed 5 years, during which time his musical output dwindled. The legal wrangling culminated in a 1982 court ruling in O'Sullivan's favour, awarding him £7 million in damages. However, the lengthy dispute had already taken a toll on his career momentum. Amidst the legal turmoil, O'Sullivan returned to CBS Records and released the album Off Centre in October 1980. Produced by Gus Dudgeon, best known for his work with Elton John, the album aims to re-establish O'Sullivan in the pop landscape. What's in a Kiss, the lead single, is a quintessential O'Sullivan track, melodic, introspective, and tinged with his characteristic wit. The song muses on the significance of a kiss, pondering its various meanings and implications. With lines like, "What's in a kiss? Have you ever wondered just what it is?" O'Sullivan invites listeners to reflect on this simple, yet profound gesture. The track's light-hearted arrangement, featuring a gentle piano accompaniment, harkens back to his earlier works that seamlessly blended catchy melodies with thoughtful lyrics. While What's in a Kiss achieved modest success, reaching number 19 in the UK and number 21 in Japan, it didn't herald a full-fledged comeback. The shadow of his former legal battles and the evolving music industry landscape posed challenges to regaining his former prominence. Following the release of Off Centre and its follow-up album Life and Rhymes in 1982, O'Sullivan's presence in the music scene waned. The legal disputes had not only stalled his creative output, but also affected his relationship within the industry. Between 1983 and 1986, he released no new material, a stark contrast to his prolific early years. In his personal life, 1980 also marked a significant milestone, as O'Sullivan married his Norwegian girlfriend, Asa Brekke. The couple welcomed 2 daughters, Helen Marie later that year and Tara in 1982. Seeking privacy and a respite from the public eye, the family settled in Jersey, where O'Sullivan continues to reside. While What's in a Kiss didn't catapult O'Sullivan back to the heights of his early 70s fame, it remains a key marker to his enduring talent as a songwriter. The song encapsulated the charm and introspection that characterised his music, offering a glimpse into the contemplative mind of an artist navigating the complexities of both personal and professional life. O'Sullivan's career is a tapestry of soaring highs and challenging lows. His early success, marked by chart-topping hits and international acclaim, showcases his ability to craft songs that chime with us on a deeply emotional level. The subsequent legal struggles highlight the often overlooked battles artists face in asserting control over their creative endeavours. Today, Gilbert O'Sullivan's music continues to be celebrated for its melodic richness and lyrical depth. What's in a Kiss, though not his most commercially successful track, stands as a poignant reminder of his artistry during a pivotal moment in his life, a swan song that encapsulates the essence of his musical journey. Next up, a quickie. In the vibrant tapestry of British ska, few tracks stand out as uniquely as Bad Manners' 1980 hit Special Brew. Emerging from the energetic two-tone movement and amidst a band's song catalogue which often seemed batshit crazy and frenetic, this song not only climbed to number 3 on the UK singles chart, but also showcased the band's unique flair and musical evolution. This is track 2. Following the raucous success of Lip Up Fatty, a stomping bass-heavy anthem that reached number 15 on the UK singles chart in June 1980, Bad Manners were riding high. The song's mischievous energy and relentless tempo became a fan favourite, cementing the band's place as ska's most irreverent outfit. But rather than resting on their beer-soaked laurels, they went back to work, concocting what would become one of their most beloved hits. Legend has it that the genesis of Special Brew came from an impromptu burst of inspiration. During a writing session, frontman Buster Bloodvessel Douglas Trendle allegedly picked up a can of Carlsberg Special Brew and crooned, "I love you, yes I do, 'cause I know you're my special brew." The band, never once to pass up a bit of cheeky fun, ran with the idea, crafting a jubilant love song to the potent lager. Released on September the 12th, 1980, Special Brew quickly climbed the charts, peaking at number 3 and lingering in the top 10 for weeks. The single's success was helped along by a limited edition picture disc featuring Bloodvessel gleefully licking his lips at a pint of Special Brew, a perfect encapsulation of the band's playful spirit. The track itself marked a slight shift in sound from earlier releases. While Lip Up Fatty and their cover of Nini Na 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 Nunu were rooted in frenetic, rough and ready ska, Special Brew smoothed out the edges just a bit. The brass section gleamed, the production was cleaner, and the melody leaned more heavily into pure pop catchiness. It was still ska through and through, but with an added layer of polish that helped broaden the band's appeal. Lyrically, the song was gloriously simple, a straightforward love song, but with the object of affection being a can of lager instead of a person. That absurd sincerity was part of Bad Banner's charm. They could sing an entire track about cheap beer with the same conviction another band might reserve for a grand ballad. In contrast to the boisterous chants of Lip Up Fatty, or the almost nonsensical bounce of Nini Na 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 Nunu, Special Brew had a sing-along chorus that was irresistibly infectious. Fans could and did belt out the words with pints in hand, turning live gigs into joyous, beer-fueled sing-alongs. The B-side, Over the Engine, paid homage to the beloved children's television series, further showcasing the band's commitment to whimsical, nostalgic fun. It would later find a home on their sophomore album, Looney Tunes, released in 1980. Special Brew remains a quintessential Bad Manners track, brimming with humour, energy, and the sort of anarchic joy that defined the two-tone era. It showed that ska could be silly without being disposable, celebratory without being shallow, and most importantly, it proved that sometimes the most enduring love songs are written not for people, but for pints of the good stuff. Track 3 today, and we're back with Sting and the Police, a band we haven't seen since episode 6. In the late 1970s, the Police were rapidly ascending the echelons of rock stardom. Their 1978 debut, Outlandos d'Amour, introduced the world to hits like Roxanne and Can't Stand Losing You, blending punk's raw energy with reggae's rhythmic allure. By 1979's Regatta de Blanc, they had refined this fusion, producing chart toppers such as Message in a Bottle and Walking on the Moon. Yet, it was their 1980 release, Zenyatta Mondata, that solidified their global prominence, propelled by the evocative lead single, Don't Stand So Close to Me. Give it a listen now. Following the success of So Lonely, the Police found themselves under immense pressure to deliver another hit. The relentless demands of touring and recording schedules left them with a mere 4 weeks to conceive and produce their third studio album. Opting for Wisseloord Studios in the Netherlands to mitigate tax implications, the band, alongside co-producer Nigel Gray, embarked on an intense recording marathon. Drummer Stuart Copeland later recounted the experience. Quote, "We had bitten off more than we could chew. We finished the album at 4 a.m. on the day we were starting our next world tour." This whirlwind process culminated in the release of Zenyatta Mondata on October the 3rd, 1980. Don't Stand So Close to Me, the album's lead single, delves into the controversial narrative of a student-teacher relationship. Sting, who penned the song, drew inspiration from his own experiences as an English teacher, as well as literary works like Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita. The lyrics poignantly capture the tension and forbidden allure. Young teacher, the subject of schoolgirl fantasy. She wants him so badly, knows what she wants to be. Inside her, there's longing, this girl's an open page. Bookmarking, she's so close now, this girl is half his age. The chorus, with its emphatic plea, underscores this internal conflict. Don't stand so close to me. Musically, the track exemplifies the Police's evolution. While retaining their signature reggae-infused new wave sound, the song introduces a more polished production and intricate arrangements. Andy Summers' guitar work is particularly noteworthy, employing a synthesizer to add depth and texture. Summers reflected on this innovation, quote, "After Sting had put the vocals on Don't Stand So Close to Me, we looked for something to lift the middle of the song. I came up with a guitar synthesizer. It was the first time we used it. I felt it worked really well." Upon its release on September the 19th, 1980, Don't Stand So Close to Me rapidly climbed the UK singles chart, securing the #1 spot by September the 27th. It maintained this position for 4 consecutive weeks, becoming the UK's best-selling single that year. In the United States, the track reached number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, further cementing the Police's international acclaim. The success of Don't Stand So Close to Me was not merely commercial. The song garnered critical acclaim, earning the Police the Grammy Award for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal in 1982. This accolade underscored the band's ability to tackle provocative themes while delivering chart-topping hits. Zenyatta Mondatta as a whole reflects a maturation in the Police's sound and thematic exploration. Tracks like Driven to Tears showcase the band's burgeoning political consciousness, addressing global disparities between wealth and poverty. Sting was moved to write the song after witnessing the plight of starving children on television, leading to lyrics that question societal indifference. The album seamlessly blends the band's reggae roots with more complex song structures and introspective lyrics, marking a significant evolution from their earlier, more straightforward punk influences. However, the creation of Zenyatta Mondatta wasn't without its challenges. The band members later expressed frustration over the album's rushed production. Sting admitted, quote, "We hated it. It was frustrating. We knew it wasn't finished." Despite their reservations, the album's success was undeniable, and the tension between artistic perfectionism and commercial demands became a recurring theme throughout the Police's career. Don't Stand So Close to Me demonstrates the Police's ability to intertwine compelling storytelling with innovative musicality. It captures a moment in time when the band, amidst external pressures and a grueling schedule, channeled their creative energies to produce a track that continues to sound incredible decades later. The song's enduring popularity, along with its controversial subject matter, has cemented it as one of the Police's most iconic releases. A complex, uncomfortable, and utterly captivating piece of pop history. Our track for today is a pin in the map of the 80s. It's the moment where synth pop really announces itself. After the unexpected success of their single Messages, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, or OMD, found themselves on the cusp of something bigger. They were no longer just two guys from the Wirral playing with synths and tape machines. They were pop contenders. But instead of basking in their newfound attention, they dropped a 3.5-minute pop song about nuclear warfare and moral ambiguity. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were ever with aliens on this planet and they wanted to know what the early 80s sounded like, this is the song you'd play. It's Enola Gay. This is track 4. Press play now. Enola Gay arrived in September 1980, a glistening synth-pop missile disguised as a dance track. Andy McCluskey wrote the song about the B-29 Superfortress bomber that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. The plane's pilot, Colonel Paul Tibbets, named the aircraft after his mother, Enola Gay Tibbets, a detail so strange it feels like fiction. McCluskey's lyrics are blunt. "It shouldn't ever have to end this way," he sings, laying bare the weight of history over bright, relentless drum machines. The song is unrelenting in its structure, just 4 chords repeating in a loop with no traditional chorus. McCluskey's vocal lines serve as the anchor, but the real hook is the piercing Korg micro-preset synth melody, cutting through the mix like a warning siren. Paul Humphreys, the band's keyboardist, initially wasn't convinced by the track. Even their manager, Paul Collister, who called it a potential hit, still thought it sounded like a demo. But the simplicity of the production worked in its favour, a stark mechanical canvas for a song about mechanical destruction. When it was released, Enola Gay climbed to number 8 on the UK singles chart and went on to top the charts in Italy and Spain. It sold over 5 million copies worldwide, a staggering number for a song that name-checks a warplane. It's one of those rare pop songs that seems to transcend itself, catchy enough to play at a party, heavy enough to stop you in your tracks if you listen closely. Not everyone understood the song's intent. The BBC's children's show Swap Shop refused to play it, mistakenly thinking it was about homosexuality because of the word gay in the title. Meanwhile, some critics thought it was too bleak for the charts. But its success proved otherwise. Greg Reedman of Boston Rock called it a devastating warhead on the world of inferior pop music, while the record Mirror praised its joyous and jumpy sound, even as they acknowledged the grim subject matter. Over the decades, Enola Gay has outlived the Cold War anxieties that birthed it. It's been remixed, covered, and played at the 2012 London Olympics. It popped up in the soundtrack of It's a Sin, and David Guetta sampled it for a dance hit. The song's longevity comes from its tension, the way its irresistible melody rubs against its haunting historical context. It doesn't try to resolve that tension, it just loops over and over like history itself. For me, it really is the key moment when the 80s announced themselves. Sure, we've talked about how other songs were the first 80s songs, like Sheena Easton's Modern Girl, but nothing quite says, "We're here," like Enola Gay. That's why it's in the top tier of our 80s pantheon. Next up, following the success of Babushka, Kate Bush unveiled Army Dreamers on September the 22nd, 1980, as the third and final single from her album Never Forever. This track marked a departure from her previous work, both thematically and musically, showcasing Bush's evolving artistry. It also proved unusually controversial. This is track 5 today. Army Dreamers is a poignant narrative exploring the tragic loss of a young soldier from the perspective of his grieving mother. The lyrics delve into the remorse and contemplation of missed opportunities that might have altered her son's fate. The chorus reflects her anguish. What could he do? Should have been a rock star, but he didn't have the money for a guitar. What could he do? Should have been a politician, but he never had a proper education. What could he do? Should have been a father, but he never even made it to his 20s. What a waste. Army Dreamers. Musically, the song is set in a waltz time signature, a notable shift from Bush's earlier singles. This 3/4 rhythm imparts a lullaby-like quality, contrasting with the sombre subject matter. The arrangement features a blend of traditional and modern instruments. Paddy Bush on mandolin, Brian Barth on acoustic guitar, Alan Murphy handling both electric guitar and acoustic bass guitar, Duncan Mackay on the Fairlight CMI synthesizer, and Stuart Elliott playing the bodhrán. The accompanying music video further amplifies the song's emotional weight. It opens with a close-up of Bush in dark green camouflage, holding a child. As the video progresses, the child transforms into a young soldier, symbolising the loss of innocence. Bush and the soldiers navigate a forest amid explosions, with Bush reaching out to the soldier only for him to vanish, a visual metaphor for the mother's loss. Bush expressed deep satisfaction with this video, stating, "For me, that's the closest that I've got to a little bit of film, and it was very pleasing for me to watch the ideas I thought of actually working beautifully." Upon its release, Army Dreamers achieved commercial success, peaking at number 16 on the UK singles chart in October 1980. It also charted internationally, reaching number 14 in Ireland and number 25 in the Netherlands. The single was certified silver by the British phonographic industry, denoting sales of over 200,000 units. The single's B-sides offer additional insight into Bush's musical range. Delius, Song of Summer, serves as a tribute to English composer Frederick Delius, inspired by a BBC film about his life. The subtitle references one of Delius's works, and the track reflects Bush's admiration for his compositions. Passing Through Air, the second B-side, is one of Bush's earliest recordings, captured in 1973 at Dave Gilmour's studio when she was just 15. But Army Dreamers was not without controversy. During the Gulf War in 1991, the BBC included it amongst 68 songs deemed inappropriate for airplay, reflecting the song's anti-war sentiment. In interviews, Bush clarified that the song was not specifically about any particular conflict, but addressed the broader tragedy of young lives lost in military service. She remarked, "I'm not slagging off the army, it's just so sad when there are kids who have no O-levels and nothing to do but become soldiers, and it's not what they want." Army Dreamers demonstrates Kate Bush's ability to tackle profound themes with sensitivity and innovation. Its blend of haunting lyrics, unconventional rhythm, and evocative visuals ensures its place as a significant work in her illustrious career. Our penultimate song today is one of those 80s peculiarities. It's something which would never see the light of day today, but for me it conjures up a certain image in my mind. I'm at my grandmother's house at some point in the early 80s, probably the school holidays. It's a Sunday and the family is sat in her bungalow kitchen eating sausages with wholemeal bread and butter. In the background is a local radio station, probably something like Radio Norfolk, which back then was very much a parochial radio station with all manner of people and countryside accents. It was a gentle station and very occasionally they would play the following track. Amidst the burgeoning new wave and the remnants of disco shimmer emerged a song that seemed almost anachronistic, a gentle instrumental piece titled "And the Birds Were Singing" by Sweet People. This serene composition, led by Swiss musician Alain Morisot, offered a tranquil respite from the era's more boisterous sounds. This is our track 6. Alain Morisot, born on June the 23rd, 1949 in Geneva, Switzerland, faced early life challenges, including the loss of his father at the tender age of 9. Encouraged by his mother, Marguerite, he immersed himself in music, mastering the piano, a decision that would shape his future endeavours. His educational journey led him to the Institut Florimont between 1958 and 1968, followed by studies at the Faculty of Law at the University of Geneva from 1968 to 1970. However, his passion for music prevailed, leading him to the Conservatoire de Musique and the Conservatoire Populaire, both in Geneva. Morisot's musical career commenced in 1967 as a piano accompanist for artists such as Arlette Zola, Henri Dez, and the French humorist Fernand Reynaud. His first single, Concerto pour Unette, released in 1971, became a significant hit, selling over 2 million copies. This track's success extended beyond Europe, reaching number 1 in Brazil for 9 weeks in 1973. In 1977, Morisot formed Sweet People with the ambition to participate in the Eurovision Song Contest. Their song, Hey la Musicienne, secured second place in the Swiss national finals in 1978. The ensemble, often billed as Alain Morisot and Sweet People, carved a niche for themselves, especially in European markets, with their distinctive sound characterised by mellow melodies and soothing arrangements. Released in 1980, And the Birds Were Singing is an instrumental piece lasting approximately 2 minutes and 52 seconds. The track is characterised by its gentle melodies that evoke images of serene landscapes, and as the title suggests, the harmonious chirping of birds. The B-side of the single, Elodie, complements the A-side with its equally soothing tones, running for about 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Despite its understated nature, And the Birds Were Singing was loved by audiences beyond Switzerland. In the United Kingdom, a market often dominated by rock and pop anthems, the track achieved notable success. The single ascended to number 4 on the UK singles chart in 1980, marking a significant milestone for the group. The track's performance is particularly remarkable considering the musical landscape of the time. For instance, on the chart dated November the 22nd, 1980, And the Birds Were Singing held its ground amid other prominent acts, while Blondie's The Tide Is High secured the top spot. Sweet People's instrumental maintained a respectable position, reflecting its widespread appeal. The year 1980 was a pivotal one in music, witnessing the rise of new wave bands, the persistence of disco's influence, and the emergence of synth pop. Amidst this eclectic mix, Sweet People's tranquil composition stood out, offering listeners a serene escape from the frenetic pace of contemporary hits. While Sweet People may not have achieved the enduring fame of some contemporaries, And the Birds Were Singing remains a cherished piece for those who appreciate instrumental music's emotive power. Alan Morrisode and Sweet People's ability to craft a piece that touched hearts across Europe, especially in the UK, underscores the timeless appeal of melodies that speak directly to the soul. For me personally, it will always be Breakfast with My Nan, long since left us, in her home in Norfolk. Finally today, let's end with a powerhouse. When we first encountered Barbra Streisand, she was riding the disco wave with Donna Summer on the 1979 chart-topping duet No More Tears. This collaboration marks Streisand's 4th number 1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, solidifying her versatility across genres. But as the disco era waned, Streisand sought a fresh musical direction, leading to a serendipitous collaboration with Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees had dominated the late 70s with their falsetto-driven disco anthems, but by 1980 they were eager to explore new avenues. Streisand approached Barry Gibb to craft an album that would blend her emotive vocal style with the Bee Gees' songwriting prowess. This partnership culminated in the creation of the album Guilty, released in September 1980. The lead single, Woman in Love, emerged as a shining beacon of this collaboration's brilliance. This is our track 7 today. Woman in Love is a quintessential love ballad, encapsulating the fervour and vulnerability inherent in deep affection. The lyrics, penned by Barry and Robin Gibb, convey a profound commitment. I am a woman in love, and I'd do anything to get you into my world and hold you within. But it's Streisand's delivery which imbues these words with an intensity that is raw and passionate, unlike any other female solo artist of her time, making the song both personal and universal. The recording sessions for Guilty took place in February 1980 at Middle Ear Studios in Miami, a facility owned by the Gibb brothers. This setting fostered a creative synergy, allowing Streisand and Gibb to experiment and refine their sound. The production, handled by the trio of Gibb, Galutin and Richardson, melded soft rock with post-disco elements, creating a soundscape that was both contemporary and timeless. Upon its release on August 16, 1980, Woman in Love swiftly ascended the charts. In the United States, it became Streisand's 5th number 1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, maintaining the top position for 3 consecutive weeks. The track also dominated the adult contemporary chart for 5 weeks, underscoring its broad appeal. Internationally, the song mirrored this success, reaching number 1 in multiple countries, including the UK, where it held the top spot for 3 weeks, starting on October 25th, 1980. The commercial performance of Woman in Love was nothing short of remarkable. By December 1981, the single had sold over 2.5 million copies worldwide, cementing its status as one of Streisand's most successful releases. The song's widespread acclaim was further validated when Barry and Robin Gibb received the 1980 Ivor Novello Award for Best Song Musically and Lyrically, highlighting the track's exceptional composition. Despite its success, Streisand's relationship with Woman in Love was complex. She reportedly expressed reservations about the song's lyrical content, feeling disconnected from its message. This ambivalence led to her seldom performing the song live, a curious decision given its popularity. Nevertheless, the track remains a standout in her discography, illustrating the often intricate relationship artists have with their work. The Guilty album itself benefited immensely from the momentum of Woman in Love. It became Streisand's best-selling album, showcasing her ability to adapt and thrive amidst the evolving musical landscape of the early 1980s. The collaboration with Barry Gibb not only refreshed her sound, but also introduced her to a new generation of listeners. Decades later, the impact of Woman in Love still lingers. It's a song that refuses to fade, carrying with it all the grandeur and emotional weight of its creators. For Streisand, it marked another career high, proof of her ability to channel someone else's words and make them entirely her own. And for listeners, it remains an enduring reminder of what happens when two musical powerhouses collide. A track that, even after all these years, still hits like a tidal wave of emotion. And so we've reached the halfway point of playlist 14, but fear not, the great songs keep on coming. In the next episode, we explore tracks 8 to 13, which include one of the most important rap songs ever, Adamant's breakout moment. We introduce Status Quo and Billy Idol, listen to a sneaky good ballad, and end with the new wave pioneers themselves, Japan. Do give us a follow and a review on your podcast platform of choice. And until next week, take care.